So as we contemplate all of this, Claire, what has been most on your mind over the last few weeks? I know you brought a few things to mind before we started to record last week, and then we just took off on so many things we didn't get to them. But what has you mulling Ohio State football during the off season?
I'm really curious, more curious than anything else, and we kind of touched on it a little bit last week about the O-line play and how that's going to evolve this year. Let's hope it's evolve and not devolve, because there's a lot of promise to this offensive line, but promises are not guarantees. And I'm really kind of interested to see what. There seems to right now be what appears to be a lack of depth, a little bit of shuffling. I have the most excitement, and I have for quite some time. And my buddy Joe Dexter will remember how excited I am about Josh Myers. He's probably the one I'm most excited to see what he's going to be able to do at center. But if things don't improve in the run blocking department on the offensive line, I don't know that Stradrawa's seat is going to be hot. Rather warmish might be a better indicator here. But obviously he's got deep ties to Urban when he was hired under Urban, and he's got national championships under his belt at LSU. But I'm going to say between 05 and 14, he had one offensive lineman drafted at LSU. And again, he's had these offensive lines at Ohio State nominated for big awards, and he's doing well with Urban's recruits. So I'm excited to see, again, hopefully there's an evolution and this offensive line doesn't devolve.
Claire, did I hear that correctly? Between 2005 and 2014, LSU had one offensive lineman drafted?
Yep.
Wow, that's a bit stunning.
Right. It doesn't seem right.
Steve, what are you working on there for us?
Well, I just jotted down a couple things, and that is interesting that you mentioned about Coach Stud. He probably had more guys drafted this past year than his entire time at LSU. Yeah, kind of interesting. I know one of the things we gleaned today was that Thayer Munford on the offensive line is starting to get closer to full activity if he's not all the way back, and that Coach Day has a very strong hope for the offensive line along the lines of what Claire was talking about there, that although there are changes and truly just one returning starter from last season with Thayer Munford, the hope that Wyatt Davis, who played a little bit at the end of the season, Brandon Bowen, who played previously, Jonah Jackson, who's probably transferring in as a guard from Rutgers, and as she mentioned, Josh Myers at center, that the overall five-man unit will not have too much drop-off and or even be maybe by the end of the season even better than what we saw at the end of last season. So I think that is kind of interesting, although I thought at times last year they were – I think they went through that lull in games probably 4 through 8 where they couldn't run the ball, and then by the end of the season they with Mike Weber getting some tougher yards, they were doing a little better with it. But Coach Day was asked about the summer program and what it looks like. The players attend some summer classes, obviously, to get ahead on their academics because the fall can be very strenuous for them. They are basically they work 8 hours a week with the strength class in terms of our strength coach with the staff with lifting and running. They'll lift as position groups, as offense, defense, upperclassmen, freshmen. Then they kind of vary things around. They're also heavy into running this summer. But the big thing that Coach Day is looking for is leadership, is guys within each group that are going to lead their group during these workouts, and that this is the time that those team bonds are built. They were happy with the testing, said that the 40 times were outstanding. He was asked for any specifics about that and declined. So he's keeping those numbers under wraps. But somehow they always find a way to leak out. I think those guys who run those really fast 40s are not averse to putting that out there on social media that I'm a 4.3 guy, and God bless them, because that is a tremendous thing. If you're able to go 4.4 better or even low 4.4 better, that's awesome. So those were some of the things from Coach Day that I gleaned.